French onion pot roast, unstuffed peppers, and chicken fajitas all in my Instant Pot, but not just for dinner, as a freezer meal as well. That's what I'm gonna be sharing with you guys today. My name is Vanessa if you are new, and today is the last video in this month's series where I am cooking dinner for my family. But while that is cooking, I'm also whipping up the same exact meal as a freezer meal to stash away for later on in the month or next month, because we are ending out March with a bang, and that is with cooking in our Instant Pot. And just like the previous two videos, which I will have linked down in the description box if you guys missed them, I am teaming up with my really good friend Kiera over at 50 Shades of Mom. She is back again with me, sharing some in her pressure cooker. So I will have her channel linked down below so you guys can check out the 3 dinners that she's gonna be sharing. I am super excited. She's already given me lots of ideas for new recipes in her other 2 videos. So I'm gonna go ahead and link all of them down below if you guys are new to the game and you missed us earlier this month. So we started out with freezer meals and dinners in our oven, then we moved to our crock pot, and now, like I said, we are ending in the pressure cooker. I own an Instant Pot. I'm pretty sure she owns a Kasori, so it really doesn't matter the brand. As long as you have a pressure cooker, you can go ahead and cook up these yummy meals. So let's get right into it, and I am excited to share with you guys how easy it is to kind of cook once but eat twice. So for the first dinner, we are using the saute button on the Instant Pot, and this is just like you're cooking something on the stovetop. So I have 2 pounds of ground beef in here, and whenever I am browning up ground meat, I love to use my 2 favorite seasonings. So I put in a bunch of garlic powder and onion powder. No matter what recipe it's going into, I always do this step. I just really feel like it helps with the flavor of the meat and they mix well. So I'm just going to use this as a stovetop and brown up my ground beef until it's completely cooked through, and that way I'm not dirtying any other dishes. Okay, my ground beef is done, and you can't just switch functions on the Instant Pot. You always have to press the cancel button first, so I already did that. And before I add anything in here, I did do 2 pounds because, like previous weeks, I'm cooking one and prepping another one for the freezer. So I have my freezer bag here, making Instant Pot unstuffed peppers. I've got the date. This will last for about 6 months. And then I have my directions. So this one is a little bit different. I'm gonna go ahead and read them to you. So when you take this out of your freezer to cook, I always try to take mine out the night before just so it has time to thaw. That's not completely necessary. You can take it out the day of, or even right before you want to cook it, run it under some water just so it thaws enough to get it out of the bag. But you're going to get it into your Instant Pot, cook on high pressure for 4 minutes, do a quick release. You could cook rice at the same time if you wanted to. If you had 2 Instant Pots, cook rice while this is cooking and then just mix everything together. Or you could add in uncooked rice, put it back, close your lid again, cook it on low pressure for 12 minutes, quick release, stir in your cheddar cheese, and your dinner is done. So since I went ahead and cooked the double batch of ground beef, I'm going to use my little bag holder and put in half of the ground beef into my freezer bag. Okay, I've only got half of the ground beef in here, so about 1 pound, and now I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. So I'm gonna add 2 cups of uncooked rice. In this bowl, I already have chopped up, which my husband did for me. Thank you so much. one red bell pepper, 1 green bell pepper, and 1 yellow bell pepper. And then I have 1 medium-sized onion diced up. Going to be adding in 3 cups of beef broth. This container, which is 26.46 ounces of finely chopped tomatoes. And then I have this 10-ounce jar, but I only need 4 tablespoons. So I'm just going to use my tablespoon scoop here and put 4 of those and get everything all mixed up into my Instant Pot. Okay, once you've got everything in there, stir it up so it's all nice and mixed. Get that lid closed, knob to sealing, and then you can do either, you can cook this 2 ways. Press the rice button, which I'm going to do, or if you have a manual button or a pressure cook button, just make sure it is on low pressure and set the time for 12 minutes if you want to push all those extra buttons, or they make it nice and easy and the rice is already at low pressure and 12 minutes, so it's already set for unstuffed peppers in the Instant Pot. So that's what I'm going to be using, and while this is cooking, Instant Pots do have to come to pressure, and normally, depending on how full your pot is, that could take up to 10-15 minutes, and then the cook time is going to start. So this is not a 12-minute meal. This is gonna be at least a probably 25-minute meal, considering that we did have to cook the ground beef first. But now I'm going to get my freezer meal ready with all of the ingredients except for the rice. We are not adding our rice into our freezer bag. All right, once the time is up, we are going to do a quick release. Smells good. One thing I love about the Instant Pot is when you're releasing the pressure, all the smell comes out and you can really smell it. Very strong smell of peppers, rice, ground beef, all of it. All right, so I'm gonna stir this up and get it into bowls for the family. All right, top with a little shredded cheese. I took a bite. I'm going to add a little salt and pepper to mine as well. I feel like it just needs a little bit more seasoning, but still has all the flavors of stuffed peppers. Super yummy, and it was really easy to whip up using the Instant Pot. Okay, so for recipe number 2 in our Instant Pot or pressure cooker, I already have my meat in here, just so I don't have to constantly be washing my hands while I'm doing everything, plus holding the camera. So in here I have a roast. It's about 3 pounds. I did go ahead and put a little bit of olive oil on the bottom of my pot just to help with the burn. I don't want it to burn any at all, even though we are putting some liquid in. This is a pretty big piece of meat, so I always do that just as an extra precaution. Okay, so we are going to add everything in together, and I'm basically just adding in a tablespoon of everything. So I'm going to add in a heaping tablespoon of garlic, and I totally should have done the garlic last. I wasn't thinking. It was first in line. All right, so back at it. Going to add in a tablespoon of pepper, a tablespoon of salt, a tablespoon of onion powder, and then a tablespoon, and some of mine are heaping, I love seasonings, of garlic powder. Lots of seasonings going in here. All right, so I didn't even tell you guys what we're making. I just showed you the meat. We're doing a French onion pot roast. So look at all of these onions. This is 2 pretty large onions that I diced up, and we're gonna add all of them in there. Okay, for our liquid, because when you are using a pressure cooker, you have to have some kind of liquid for it to work at all. We're gonna go in with 1 cup of beef broth. And last but not least, we're going to top it off with just 1 bay leaf. And now that we have all the ingredients in there, let me pull my Instant Pot out a little bit. I'm going to close the lid, make sure it is sealing, not venting. And then this recipe actually takes quite a while. This is one of the longer ones. So I am gonna press my manual button. That just puts it automatically onto high pressure. So whatever button on your Instant Pot, the different versions have different buttons. Just make sure you're putting it on high pressure. And then we are actually going to go all the way up to 60 minutes. Now, it's gonna take longer than this because it has to come to pressure. So add on about another 10-15 minutes. That way you can figure out what time you want to eat and when to start your other items to go with your dinner. So while that is cooking, I am gonna go ahead and get myself set up, and we're gonna create another one for the freezer. All right, time is up, but I am not going to release the pressure. I'm going to let it release naturally for about 20 minutes. I'm gonna set my own timer for 20 minutes, and when that is up, we'll come back and see if there's any more pressure in the Instant Pot, and if there's not, then this little knob will be down instead of up like that. All right, after 20 minutes, there is still pressure in here because this is still up, so we're gonna release any remaining pressure. Hardly any. We've got the pot roast out of the Instant Pot. Hubby is working on shredding it. I would almost cook it a little bit longer, just to make it easier to shred, because the outside is pretty easy, but you're saying the inside is kind of still pretty tough. Yeah. I also went ahead and took the bay leaf out, and now we're going to thicken up our sauce to make it more gravy-like. So I made a little cornstarch slushy. So this is 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of warm water. If you have extra beef broth, I ended up using the rest of my container for my freezer meal. But if you have more, you could use beef broth instead of water just to give it that oomph, more flavor. So we're gonna go ahead and add this in here and mix that up, and that will make it nice and thick and more of a gravy than a sauce. And then that's it, you guys. We're gonna end up serving this with some mashed potatoes and a big salad on the side, but you can do whatever you want, whatever floats your family's boats. But that's it, all done. All right, last we are going to be making some chicken fajita filling. So for this, we are going to cook our chicken first for both meals, just to be a little bit more time saving. So I've got 4 really good sized chicken breasts that I pulled right out of my freezer. I bought a big old 10-pound bag of frozen chicken breasts. Super easy. Now when you're using the Instant Pot, as always, you need some liquid just to have a little bit of extra flavor. I'm using 1 cup of chicken broth, and I'm going to pour that in here. Then I'm gonna get my chicken breast in here, and I am gonna have to wash my hands after I get all of these pieces in here. All right, hands are washed. Go ahead and get your lid on. Make sure it is sealing, not venting, or your Instant Pot will not come to pressure. Pressing my favorite button, which is the manual button, which just automatically puts it on high pressure. And we are going to go all the way down to 12 minutes. And then we're going to do a quick release once that 12 minutes is up. Okay, chicken is done. I did go ahead and drain all the liquid because I'm going to shred it. If you guys don't know about this little hack, it's a time saver. So I'm gonna go ahead and just shred it in this bowl with my mixer. Okay, now that I've got it all shredded, I only need half of this for dinner tonight, and the other half I'm gonna go ahead and prep for an upcoming dinner. So I do have my freezer bag all labeled with all the instructions. I am not going to, you guys are gonna see the rest of the ingredients in just a second, but I'm gonna add everything but the chicken broth, the liquid, and then we're just gonna cook it on high for 5 minutes and do a quick release. Or you could go ahead and use the saute function and just saute it, stand here, keep an eye on it until your peppers, which we're gonna be adding in, are the consistency that you want them. But I'm just gonna go ahead and dump everything in, set the timer for 5 minutes, and we're gonna be good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my bag up on the little stand and get half of this chicken into my freezer bag. right, to our Instant Pot, I've got half the shredded chicken already in there. Of course you need some liquid, so I am using a chicken broth, 1 cup. Now I'm adding in 1 yellow bell pepper and 1 red bell pepper that has been sliced up. 1 yellow onion that's been diced. Now I'm using this little juicer to juice 1 whole lime. So here's half of the lime and the other half. I like to call this W sauce, and I'm adding in 1 teaspoon. Then we're gonna go in with half a teaspoon of chili powder and half a teaspoon of ground cumin. Okay, now I'm going to mix all of these ingredients up. That way the seasonings get all over that chicken that's on the bottom. All right, now that I've got everything mixed up, lid is going back on. Make sure your nozzle is turned to sealing. And everything's really cooked. We just want to get those peppers nice and soft. So I'm going to go in at 5 minutes, high pressure. And we are going to do a quick release as soon as that time goes off. And of course, while my Instant Pot was cooking our dinner for tonight, I went ahead and mixed everything together, or got everything in this freezer bag for another meal. All right, everything's done. The peppers are nice and soft. My kids definitely do not like the crunchy peppers, and by kids, I mean Pearl, because Bryce and Rose are not going to eat the peppers. I'm gonna have to pick it out of theirs. But yum, smells good. Now we're gonna have some chicken fajitas for dinner. We're gonna have some guacamole on the side, chips and queso, all sorts of yummy goodness tonight. All right, you guys, so like the other 2 videos, I have been sharing our thoughts at the very end. I wait until we've had all the meals to film the introduction and the outro is what we call this. So I do not have a complaint about any of them. The only thing is, which every single recipe I switch up, I change here and there, just little bits and pieces to what my family enjoys, but I did think the unstuffed peppers were really good, but it needed more flavor. So I ended up just adding a bunch of salt and pepper to the dish afterwards, but we will make that again, because like I said, I did like it, and I have one in the freezer. So when I pull that one out, I'm going to add some more seasonings when I plop it in the Instant Pot to get it cooking. So that one was just a little bland. The Instant Pot French onion pot roast was the one that my kids were not like gung-ho over, but we all enjoyed it. I personally loved it. We had it with some mashed potatoes, a big side salad, some rolls, and then the chicken fajitas was definitely the fave for everybody, because we love any kind of Tex-Mex night, any kind of quesadilla, nachos, tacos, that kind of thing, with guacamole, chips and queso, refried beans. My kids are all for that. So that was definitely the favorite, and they're already excited that we have another one in the freezer. I let them know this whole week, like, hey, let me know your thoughts on these meals, because that way I can plan out when we have them, when I pull them out of the freezer. So not a whole bunch of complaints about this week, so I wanted to let you guys know our thoughts. Don't forget, Kiera is sharing her Instant Pot recipes as well, so I will have her channel linked below, as well as our past videos for this series. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new. I would love for you to join our community here on this platform. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week, and I will see you tomorrow in a grocery haul. But I'm not going to the store at all. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a glimpse into my fridge and pantry so you can see how we've been doing this past month, eating what we picked up. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow in that video. Bye.